What is up, sports bettors? It is Matt Modi with OddsJam, and in this video, I am giving you two sharp NCAAF college football player props to lock in. One for a game tonight, one for a game tomorrow. Funny enough, we are talking about two Michigan teams. I have Michigan, actually technically three: Michigan State versus Western Michigan, and then I have Michigan versus Colorado State. I am backing two of the running backs, one for Michigan State and one for Michigan. So I have the lines up here pulled from OddsJam, and depending on your state, you can actually lock in player props for college football. Obviously, it depends on the state, and some games don't even offer player props, so you just have to make sure that you can look into it and see what's offered. But if you are located in Illinois and some other states, like I believe New Hampshire is another one, you can lock in some player props. So as you can see here, passing props, receiving props, rushing props in the Western Michigan at Michigan State game. Same thing in the Colorado State at Michigan game, except you can only get receiving props and rushing props. So a little bit of a limited selection, but still some sharp picks to lock in. And let's start with this Michigan State versus Western Michigan game. So there's a couple things that how I used OddsJam to find these player prop picks. Number one, it's good knowing. So Michigan State is a heavy favorite here. They're 21-point favorites. Obviously, they're expected to win by 3 touchdowns. And their team total is at about 37.5. So they're basically projected to score between 5 and 6 touchdowns, depending on how many field goals they get. But that's their implied, not their implied, that is their team total. So the betting markets, are expecting them to score roughly 5 or 6 touchdowns. So with that in mind, I was looking at some props specifically for this game, and I was looking at passing props, receiving props, rushing props. I ended up settling on 2 rushing props. Unfortunately, I am not located in Illinois, so I am unable to lock these in myself, but I do think that they're 2 very good bets. Unfortunately, you also can't parlay them together. You can't do a same game parlay, but they are worth taking individually, as I think both hit. So both Jalen Berger and Jarrett Broussard are running backs for Michigan State. Both are transfers. Jalen Berger transferring over from Wisconsin, and a little bit of a weird situation. It hasn't come out what went wrong in Wisconsin. They kept it pretty close to the vest. And then Jarrett Broussard transferred over from from Colorado to Michigan State. If you will remember, Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker was at Colorado with Jarrett Broussard. So he is projected to be the starting running back. And the betting markets reflect that as well. His over-under is a little bit higher, 12 yards higher, and he's got more favorable odds, or the odds consider him more likely to score a touchdown at minus 144 versus minus 102. So I love backing both Jarrett Broussard to go over his rushing total at 64.5 and also to score a touchdown at minus 144. If I was unit sizing these, I would put a unit and a half on him to score a touchdown, and I would put a 1 unit on him to go over his rushing total. Michigan State has long been a run-heavy team. Even before Mel Tucker got there, they've become kind of known for producing good running backs. Of course, everybody remembers Le'Veon Bell, but then last year they had Kenneth Walker, who was on the team. And if you remember Kenneth Walker, if you look at his stats from Michigan State last year, his first year with the team, so keep in mind that head coach Mel Tucker isn't shy to run a running back into the ground in his first year with the team. He scored 18 touchdowns and rushed for over 1,600 yards. While I don't necessarily think Jarrett Broussard is as good as Kenneth Walker, I do think he's going to get ample opportunity to rush the ball. I think, and especially in a game in which he's going against a poor rushing defense in Western Michigan, and they're expected to score so many touchdowns. They're expected to be out to such a big lead. These head coaches are not shy to pound the ball, run the ball into the ground with a lead. So Jarrett Broussard going over his, and only 65 rushing yards or more is not a ton. Kenneth Walker did that a lot last year. Again, I'm not saying that Jarrett Broussard is Kenneth Walker, but I do think that he will get enough opportunity to go over his rushing total, and then I'm very confident that he's going to score. For similar logic, I am also backing the Michigan starting running back, Blake Koram. Now, Koram had a pretty good year last year, for Michigan. Obviously, he wasn't the starting running back. They had Hassan Haskins, who was the starting running back for Michigan. But Blake Corum got a decent amount of run. Now that Haskins has moved on to the NFL, drafted by the Titans, Blake Corum figures to be the lead back for Michigan. Now, this Michigan team absolutely loaded on offense last year. They scored over 30 points, I think, 9 times. I believe Hassan Haskins scored 2+ touchdowns 7 times. He went over 100 rushing yards 6 separate times. Haskins did. So now Koram getting that work, and especially in a game in which Michigan is favored by 31 points. They're literally supposed to outscore Colorado State by over 4 touchdowns. Their team total isn't even, I need to go to the team total, isn't even higher, 42.5. So they're expected to score between 6 and 7 touchdowns. I think while I'm certainly not touching Koram I'm not touching the -245 odds. While I do think this is almost a lock, maybe you can consider that some sort of a bankroll builder if you just need to get a win and you need to increase your bankroll by a little bit. Maybe put something on this, but the -245 odds is steep. But I do love him to go over this 106.5 rushing total. Again, Hassan Haskins did it over 6 times, 5 times last year for Michigan. They scored over 30 points, I think 9 times, something like that. Blake Corum now becoming the starting running back for a good Michigan offense, loaded at loaded at offensive line. They're returning both quarterbacks that had serious playing time last year, I think is a really good bet. So 3 total college football player props for this video. Blake Corum to go over 106.5 rushing yards. Jarrett Broussard to go over 64.5 and also to score a touchdown. And that's it. So if you're tailing these, if you're able to get them in your state, I definitely recommend it. If you are tailing, please let me know. Comment on the video. Other than that, would appreciate a like, subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel, and that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.